Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving right into a seriously brilliant piece of Taiwanese folklore. We're talking giant dragons, glowing golden weapons, and a desperate against-all-odds quest to save the world from absolute darkness. Let's get right into it. Now, if you've ever actually visited the stunning Sun Moon Lake in central Taiwan, or even if you're just familiar with the local Tao tribe, you might have found yourself wondering, why exactly do they toss these incredibly colorful balls up into the air using huge bamboo poles? Well, today, we're going to connect that real-world tradition straight to an epic mythological event. So let's find out exactly what happened.
Section 1. Darkness falls. The sun and moon vanish.
Okay, picture this. Before the disaster, the Thao people were living this peaceful life in the sun-drenched mountains. Farming millet, taro, corn, fishing in these beautiful, crystal-clear rivers. Just a life of perfect harmony and bright sunshine. But then, completely out of nowhere, a sudden, absolutely deafening rumble shakes the earth, and then another. In a flash, the sun and the moon just vanish entirely. The whole world is plunged into immediate pitch-black darkness. It's a totally terrifying scenario. Almost instantly, those vibrant crops wither away, the fish hide deep down in the water, and the animals, they go dead silent. You can just imagine the despair setting in as the village realizes their light is completely gone. Right in the middle of all this darkness and, frankly, impending starvation, we meet our heroes, a young farming couple named Dajian and Shui She. They're standing there, watching their corn crops literally die in the dark, the leaves just drooping without the sun, and they realize something absolutely crucial. Doing nothing means certain death for their people. They figured the sun and moon must have fallen somewhere deep into the perilous mountains, so, armed with nothing but their torches and a whole lot of bravery, they step right out into the unknown.
Section 2. Finding Stolen Light, a Hero's Journey.
Let me be clear, this was no quick afternoon hike. Da Jian and Shui Shi are traveling for what must have felt like an absolute eternity in this suffocating darkness. For days, they're crossing towering, jagged mountains. For weeks, they're fording these freezing, treacherous streams. For months, they traverse incredibly dense, unforgiving forests, just burning through torch after torch. But finally, exhausted and pushed to their absolute limits, they crest a high peak and there it is. Breaking from the pitch black is a massive, brightly glowing lake. They actually found the light.
But, their relief vanishes in an instant. Because down in the water, there are two massive, utterly terrifying dragons. And actually, it gets worse. These dragons are playfully tossing the sun and the moon back and forth in their giant jaws. They're literally treating the absolute life force of the world like their own private, glowing playthings. It's wild.
So this brings us to a seemingly impossible roadblock. Seriously, how can two ordinary humans armed with absolutely nothing take down two colossal, magical beasts? Dajian and Shui She sit down on a rock by the edge of the lake, just completely stumped. And you can't blame them. The sheer scale of these dragons makes the odds look, well, completely impossible. But then, right when things look bleakest, they notice this little wisp of white smoke rising up from beneath the very rock they're sitting on. Dajian manages to push the heavy rock aside, and it reveals this damp, winding underground tunnel. They follow the smoke down into the dark and stumble upon a hidden kitchen, and inside is an old woman with white hair cooking at a stove. As it turns out, she had been swept away by those evil dragons years ago and enslaved to cook their meals. So, in this incredibly dark hour, she steps up as their unexpected but totally vital mythological mentor.
Section 3. Sacred Golden Weapons, Tools for the Job.
The old woman drops a crucial secret on them. She says, the evil dragons are most afraid of the golden axe and golden scissors buried under Alley Mountain. She explains that the magic within the axe will automatically split their heads open and the scissors will slice them right in two. Sounds like a total game changer, right? Well, there is a catch. They have to go all the way there and dig them up themselves. So, driven by this newfound hope, Dajian and Shui Shi say goodbye to the old woman and trek over to the towering Ali Mountain. Now remember, they don't have proper tools, so they just grab wooden sticks and start digging. Imagine the physical exhaustion here. They dig and dig, literally tearing a huge crater into the side of the mountain for days. They refuse to give up, pushing their bodies to the absolute limit. And then suddenly, clink! Their wooden sticks hit something hard, and up pop two dazzling, glowing objects. The sacred golden axe and the golden scissors. Section 4. Defeating twin dragons. The climax.
They rush back to the lake, and without even hesitating, Shui She hurls those golden scissors with all her might. The glowing blades dance through the air, swooping down with lethal precision, and, snip, they slice the first dragon right in half. The second dragon roars in fury and rears back to strike, but Dai Jane throws the golden axe. It spins through the darkness, strikes its target, and with a deafening crunch, splits the beast's head wide open. Just like that, both dragons perish instantly, sinking to the bottom, their blood temporarily dyeing the lake a deep, swirling crimson. They actually did it. They've won.
Section 5. Returning the light. Saving the world. So the dragons are dead, which is great, but we still have a massive problem. The sun and moon are still trapped in the water. Idajin and Chuishe try throwing them up into the sky, but they're just way too heavy. They keep splashing right back down. That is when the old woman shouts out what has to be one of the most bizarre pieces of advice ever. Eat the dragon's eyeballs. I know, it sounds absolutely crazy, but they trust her, so they do it. And swallowing those glowing eyeballs instantly transforms them into massive, super strong giants. Realizing this incredible new power, they bend down, easily uproot 2 gigantic palm trees, and use them like massive poles to painstakingly push the sun and the moon all the way back up into the heavens. Finally, light floods the world once again. Section 6. Sun, Moon, Lake Legacy. A beautiful origin. Now, Dajin and Shushe were terrified that the dragons might somehow miraculously return, so they made a huge sacrifice. They decided to stay. These 2 newly formed giants stood guard by the lake day after day, year after year. And eventually, over the centuries, their massive bodies transformed into the very earth itself. They literally became the towering Dajian Mountain and Shushe Mountain. And that glowing lake that guarded with such dedication, well, that is the famous Sun-Moon Lake we know today. It's such a beautiful, poetic origin story for the local geography. And hey, remember that question we asked at the very beginning about the Tuokyu Wu or the ball-tossing dance? It turns out that is a real, living tradition of the Tao tribe. When they toss that colorful ball up into the sky using a long bamboo pole, they are directly mimicking and commemorating Dao Zhen and Shui She pushing the sun and moon back up into the heavens. It's just a stunning example of how ancient folklore shapes living culture, keeping the memory of these incredible heroes alive through every single generation. So, next time you look up at the sun or the moon, ask yourself something. What immense challenges are you willing to face to bring light to the dark places in your world? Dajian and Shui She faced entirely impossible odds to save their community. And I think that's a pretty powerful reminder of the light we all have the potential to carry. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep asking questions, and I'll see you next time.